Hi, Ariana. Thank you for coming. Before we go over the questions for the bell work. Good morning, Michael. Good morning, Josh. Thanks for coming. Okay. Before we go over these questions, I just wanted to give you a brief overview about Module 3. Module 3 is one of my favorites because it has to do with food, and usually students love to talk about food. What I'm finding is that many of the students are not clicking on all of the tabs and are not realizing the amount of vocabulary and verbs and things that are now being all presented at once. And so some students have tried to do the DBA and have not been able to complete it. They've had to go back and get some more notes on their note-taking guides. So having said this is kind of like a part 1. There's some things that I want to go over today, and then next week I'll go over part 2. So that way when we do the DBA review, you guys will have a better understanding of all the material that's in Module 3. And if you're not using the note-taking guides, I would hopefully by now you will have started. All right, so let's see who wrote their responses. The first question is, ¿cuál es un ejemplo de un vegetal? Un ejemplo de un vegetal es, okay, look at the endings. So now we have to practice on our agreement. So if it ends in AS, it's plural. You can't hear me, Taylor? My headset's all the way up. If you can hear me, give me a smiley face. Okay. I'm not sure, Taylor, why you can't hear me. You might want to do an audio wizard setup. Okay. So going back to this first one, zanahorias, it's plural. Is it masculine or feminine? Hi, Jamiria. It's feminine. Very good, Michael. So should it be el zanahorias? What should it be? It should be las zanahorias. No worries, Jamiria. I'm just happy you're here. So, un ejemplo de un vegetal es las zanahorias. Should be some, but we won't even go into that now because we're still doing singular. La zanahoria. Un ejemplo de un vegetal es el brócoli. Great, Danielle, that you're using the accent marks. Un ejemplo de un vegetal es el pimiento. Very good, Michael. And ¿qué frutas te gusta comer? Me gusta comer las fresas. Hello, Jesús. Thank you for coming. Prefiero las fresas. Me gusta comer las manzanas. Prefiero las fresas. Me gusta comer las manzanas. Prefiero las uvas. Oh, very good. Okay. So, we're just getting our feet wet. At the end, we're going to do a little game of Kahoot just to practice this. But for those of you who are just coming in, as I was saying earlier, this is kind of like part 1 of our live lesson. Next week, I'm going to do part 2, and I'm going to continue on this because there's a lot of material in Module 3, and I'm noticing that some students have been able to complete successfully the DBA, the Conversemos, because they're not aware of all the different tabs. So I want to make sure, because there's a lot of information in Module 3 that we're going to be going over, like table settings, restaurant. They give a lot of verbs. They present all AR, ER, and IR verbs, so it's pretty intense, this module. Okay, so some objectives. By the end of the session, students will identify and practice vocabulary needed to talk about foods and drinks. So we're only starting to touch the surface and practice about the food. We haven't gone over specific foods yet about breakfast, lunch, or dinner that we're going to continue in next week. But that is in the lessons 303, 304. We're going to identify which subject pronouns to use with AR, ER, and IR verb endings in sentences. So today I'm going to be asking you questions. What is a subject pronoun? How do you identify them? So I'm going to need you guys to either pick up the mic or to type in the chat box area. And we're going to use AR, ER, IR verbs in sentences about meals and participate in conversation amongst each other about meals and foods. So, as you can see here, we have lots of different pictures. I want you guys to please pick up your tool to the right of your names and classify them. Let's see how quickly you guys can move. Under vegetales, frutas, and bebidas. These are all that you should know at this point. I'll give you a few more seconds. Almost done. Okay. Looks good. So on the vegetales, we have, give me either a green check or an X if you're in agreement with this column on the vegetales. Either a green check or an X. I see Jamiria, I see Danielle. Jesus, I don't see that you voted yet. Or Ariana, I'm not sure if you can vote because you're on your cell. I'm not sure if you have that functionality. Jesus, do you know how to either agree? Is this row correct? You're either going to click the polling feature. Yes, very good. Yes, okay. I'm going to clear the polling feature because yes, you guys, we all agree that these are vegetales. And let's look at column number 2 under frutas. So give me a check mark or an X if you're in agreement or you do not agree. Excuse me. Jesus, are you in agreement? Oh, Ariana's not in agreement. Ariana, what don't you agree with? You could type it in the chat box area if you have, or pick up the mic, or you're typing, okay. And neither says Jesus. What do you not agree with? Jesus, you type as well. Is tomato a fruit? Oh, the tomato. Agreed. Tomato is actually classified as a fruit, even though we eat it as a vegetable. So yes, it is. Hi, Alex. Thanks for coming. It is a fruit, even though we eat it as a vegetable. Because Anita says because of the seeds. But yes. And it grows above ground. Thank you, Taylor. And it's one of my favorites. Whether it's a fruit or a vegetable, I can eat tomatoes all day long. That and cucumber are like my go-tos. Okay, now, last one. I'm going to clear this again. Let's get to that last one, bebidas. Give me a check or an X if you're in agreement with the bebidas, the images here. Jesus, I'm waiting on you. Yes. Okay, everyone is in agreement. Very good. Yes, they are all. Nina's writing something, typing something. Nina, did you have something that you wanted to share with us? I put the orange juice in between fruit and drink because it has oranges and the orange juice. Yes. Okay. Well, thank you. All righty. So this is great that you guys can identify this vocabulary. Next. ¿Qué comes para el almuerzo? Now, please wait to post your response. I want everyone picking up their writing tools and write a complete response to this. But I don't want you to hit the send button until I count off, okay? So hold off. So that'll give everyone an opportunity to practice. I want you guys to notice the que. The que is one of the question words. One of the reasons why I think Module 3 is so challenging is because there's so much information, but there's also information that we've already covered in Module 1, that we've already covered in Module 2. It's okay, Ariana. No worries. You can just take some notes, and this will help you. because I believe you're at the end of Module 2. But as you can see, that que, it's recycling the question words that we learned on page 9 of Lesson 108. And we're going to use them again in Lesson 305, which is your writing one, the Escribamos un blog. So, I see 2 people writing. I see Nina writing. I see Danielle writing. Now I see Alex writing. I don't see Jamiria. I don't see Jesus, Josh. I see Michael writing. I see Taylor writing. How would you respond to this question? Don't post it yet. I want you to use the pictures as cues. I'm going to give you about another 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Post your answers. Let's see. Okay, so we see, yo como la hamburguesa para el almuerzo. That's great, Danielle. Como la hamburguesa. All right, I'm going to put those 2 up on the board for a minute. We have yo como la hamburguesa para el almuerzo. And then we also had Michael wrote como la hamburguesa. Ooh. It's not letting me write again. So we're going to go over those 2. Nina, your answer is not correct because you're using grammar and vocabulary that we are not covering. So if you were to write something like that on the exam, you would not earn credit for it. You have to use what's in the lesson. Same thing, Taylor. We cannot use that. That is Spanish 2. Very good, Jesus. Yo como vegetales para el almuerzo. Yo como la hamburguesa para el almuerzo. Great, Josh. Alex, same thing. You have to use the grammar that is covered in the lesson. So, I want to point out these 2 examples. Let's look at yo como la hamburguesa para el almuerzo or como la hamburguesa para el almuerzo. What's the difference between yo como and como? Who can tell me? Yo como or como? Como can mean how, Jesus, if it has an accent mark. Yo como and como. Any other guesses? Yo como and como both mean I eat. Danielle, correct. So yo como is I eat and como is I eat. What is the yo here in this sentence? What is that yo called? What is that? It's I. And that I is also called what? Starts with an S. It's a subject pronoun, correct. Como is the verb that's already conjugated. So yo como and como mean the same thing. Como, we know it's talking about I because we learned when we conjugate a verb, when we're talking about us, ourselves, it ends in O. And we're going to go over that in a few minutes and review how the steps to conjugating a verb. ¿Qué tomas para el almuerzo? Again, give me a minute. Don't write your responses yet. Just start writing your response. How would you answer that? And when I tell you to hit the send button, hit the send button. Hi, Jahai. Thanks for coming. So don't hit the send button until I tell you to. In the meantime, ¿qué tomas para el almuerzo? Here are your choices. This may not be what you choose, but in this make-believe world of responding to questions, which one would you choose? And excuse me, I have a cold, so I apologize. So, how would you respond? Give me 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hit the send button. Yo tomo agua para el almuerzo. Yo tomo el jugo de naranja para el almuerzo. Yo tomo el jugo de naranja para el almuerzo. Yo tomo jugo de naranja. Okay, so a lot of y'all like some OJ for lunch. Very good. So yo tomo. So, again, I could write yo tomo. I would say el agua because that's just Señora Palma. Yo tomo el agua para el almuerzo. What's another way can I say yo tomo el agua? What's another way of me saying this same sentence? Instead of saying yo tomo, what can I say? Tomo el agua. Very good. Tomo el agua para el almuerzo. Because remember, yo tomo means I drink, or tomo means I drink. One of them, the yo tomo, has that subject pronoun in the sentence. Tomo, it's already understood that we're talking about yourself because the verb ends in an O. Okay? Very important that you know your verb endings, especially they're in lesson 303, page 9, as well as 304, page 9. Very important, Alex, because you have to be able to explain that. Now, let's look at this question. Again, if you notice, I have these question words in red for a reason. ¿Cuántos tacos quieres comer? 1, 2, o 3. Because again, we're recycling the use of those question words from lesson 108, which is module 1, page 9. Here again, we're going to be using them in lesson 305. Very important that you go back to your notes from module 1 and see the other question words that are added on. So, ¿cuántos tacos quieres comer? 1, 2, o 3. So, respond, and I'm going to count down. I'm going to give you a few minutes. I see Jesus, I see Michael, I see Danielle, I see Taylor writing, I see Jahai now. Alex, I don't see you. Jamiria, Nina. Okay. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hit the send button. Yo como un taco. Quiero comer 3 tacos. This one was a little tricky. Quiero comer 2 tacos. Very good, Michael. What's the verb in the question? What's the verb in the question? Let's look at the question. Which is a verb that's conjugated in the to form? Okay, I see a couple of different responses. I see cuantos. Cuantos is not a verb, that's a question word. We always start a question with a question word. ¿Quieres? ¿Quieres we learned last week? We started with ¿quieres and prefieres. What does ¿quieres mean? You want. Very good, Taylor. You want, because the verb is conjugated in the to form. I'll give you a little tip. Whenever I ask any of you a question in Spanish, I'm either going to ask it one of 2 ways. Am I going to be formal with my students, or am I going to be informal with my students? Again, a concept that we learned in Module 1. Am I going to be formal or informal? When I talk to you guys, Taylor says formal, Danielle says formal. Do you guys agree? Nina says informal. Michael says informal. So now I got 2 and 2. Correct, I am your teacher. I'm going to be informal because you guys are younger than me. You are my students. So whenever I talk to my students, I will be informal with you guys. So I'm always going to ask the question in the to form. So the verb that's conjugated is quieres, not comer, because we don't say yo comer. So the verb that's conjugated, meaning the verb that we have to change, is quieres. So for those students who wrote yo quiero comer 2 tacos, or quiero comer 3 tacos, that is correct, because I'm asking you, how many tacos do you want to eat? 1, 2, or 3? And then you have to say, I want to eat. Danielle, I don't know if you were here last week, but when I introduced quieres and prefieres, I talked about this 90s commercial back in the day with the Chihuahua, late 90s, early 2000s. It was for Taco Bell, and it was, I want Taco Bell, yo quiero Taco Bell. So, quieres becomes yo quiero, I want. Let's do another one. ¿Cuál prefieres, el taco o el burrito? El taco o el burrito, these are both borrowed words. So in this module too, we talked about borrowed words, which is another concept that we will be talking about in the Conversemos piece. What are borrowed words? What are some borrowed words that we took from the Spanish language and that we use every day? Same thing in the English language. We can go back to your question a few slides earlier. What do you want for lunch? Do you want a salad or do you want a hamburger? A hamburger is very much a borrowed word from the English. So, ¿cuál prefieres, el taco o el burrito? I'll give you a few more minutes, actually a few more seconds, in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hit the send. Yo prefiero el taco. Yo prefiero el burrito. Yo prefiero el taco. Very good. So, they are both borrowed words, and we know what they are. We've seen them before. As a matter of fact, in the North American culture, it's very common to hear, give me a smiley face if you've ever heard the phrase Taco Tuesday. Have you heard? Yes. Taco Tuesday in my house is, you know, my children love tacos. I mean, every day could be Taco Tuesday for them. So, who can tell me what's the difference if I say yo prefiero el taco and prefiero el taco? What's the difference between yo prefiero el taco and yo prefiero el taco? They both say I prefer, except the first one has the subject pronoun. Joshua, perfect response. Excelente. Fantastic. All right. Very quickly now, I just want you to pick up the mic. First, I want you to raise your hand. All you're going to do is say, hello, my name is, and what you like to eat, just to practice. I see 2 people with their hands up. Everyone should have their hand up so we can do this very quickly. I got 3 people's hands up. All you got to do is click the hand button. 4, 5. Come on, guys. This is just a quick practice. So Alex, hi, Michael, and Taylor, raise your hand. Alex, and now Michael. Okay, so Ariana, all I want you to do is to say, hello, my name is Ariana in Spanish, and I like to eat. You could say I like to eat a hamburger, a hot dog, a hamburger, a taco, a burrito. Keep it simple, okay? Let's try. I don't know. Hit the talk button. I don't know if it's working, Ariana. We can't hear you. Alrighty, Danielle, let's see if you can do this.
Hola, mi nombre es Daniel. Me gusta comer el taco.
That was perfect. Thank you, Danielle. Jamiria, you're up. I hear your mic on, Jamiria. We just don't hear you. It's not working, Jamiria. Okay, Nina, you're up. Let's try.
Hola, mi nombre es Nina. Me gusta comer galetas y leche.
Very good. Excellent. Jesus, you're up. Jesús. Oh.
Hola, me llamo Jesús y me gusta comer arroz con pollo.
Beautiful. Thank you. Joshua.
Hola, me llamo Joshua. Me gusta comer el burrito.
Fantastic. Alex, you're up.
Hola, mi nombre es Alex. Me gusta comer el taco.
Perfect. Michael.
Hola, me llamo Michael. Me gusta comer pizza.
Beautiful. Taylor. We didn't hear anything, Taylor. All right, Jahai, your mic wasn't working, is it? It wasn't working the other night for the live lesson. Okay. All righty. Those who participated, that was fantastic. This is just an opportunity just to hear yourself speak and also get used to hearing me speak Spanish and giving you an opportunity as well as to speak Spanish so that when we do it in the, for the conversemos, you're not shy. Okay. So this is just very quickly some examples of some borrowed words that you will see that you should be familiar with, and this should be on your note-taking guides from the lesson 3.01 from page 8. So make sure you have salsa, jalapeno, nacho, cafeteria. The first three are borrowed from Spanish to English. The last one is more of an English one. And then it gives you some examples. Guacamole, el burrito, el taco, la enchilada, la tortilla. All of these we use when we have our Taco Tuesday. ¿Qué te gusta más, el taco o el burrito? Okay, now, for those of you who are using your note-taking guides, make sure on the note-taking guides 3.03 on page 7. Next one, as I told you at the beginning of this lesson, this is going to be a two-part kind of presentation where we're just really good touching the surface today, and next week we're really going to go in more in depth where you'll have more opportunities to respond to different types of questions and now using different types of foods. This is really important that you should have on your note-taking guides, lesson 3.03, page 7. You should have on your note-taking guides breakfast foods, meal times, more verbs that we will be covering next week, table settings, we will be covering that next week, and vocabulary used in a restaurant, we will be covering that next week. These all are components on this DBA. Really important that you have this information. Okay. You can pick up the mic or you can type in the chat box area. Who can tell me what yo means and what it stands for? If subject pronouns replace subject nouns and sentences, what can you tell me about yo? And who do you use it for? Yo means I. Anything else you can add? You use it for yourself. So, yo is when you're talking about yourself. So it's called a singular subject pronoun, meaning one person talking about yourself. What about two? What does two mean? Two means you. What else? What else can you tell me about two? Is it formal? Is it informal? Who do we use it with? When you're talking about someone else, it's informal. So it's the second person. If the yo is the first person, the two is the second person, it's informal. And it is when you are talking to someone your age or younger. What about usted? Ella and usted, what is that? What does el and ella mean? El means he. Usted is formal, you. What is ella? Ella means she. So let me ask you, why did I put el, ella, and usted in the same column? Why are they in the same column? They're not all formal. No, Nina, because if we're talking about her, that might be your friend, that's just someone else. They're all talking about someone else. And they're also known as the third person. Correct, Michael. Very good, because the verb conjugates the same way for all three. So when you're conjugating verbs, they all are conjugated the same way. And usted is when you're talking to someone older. That was awesome, Michael. Very good. Okay. Now, who can tell me what's the two-step process when you're conjugating an AR verb? What is step one? So I used here, for example, the verb tomar. And tomar means, step one, Jamiria, correct. You got to remove the AR. Then what's step two? You add the appropriate ending. So what would step two on the yo be? What would be the ending for yo? Oh, that's correct. What about for two? AS, very good. And what about el, ella, and usted? You add the letter A, toma, toma, toma. This is in lesson 303, page 9, and lesson 304, page 9. So make sure when you're using your note-taking guides on the lesson 303, you write those notes for page 9, as well as 304, you write those notes for page 9. This is super important. What about comer, which is an example of an ER verb? We just did an AR verb. Now we're doing the second type, which is an ER verb. What's the first step? You remove the ER. Very good, Joshua. And then step two is you add the correct ending. So what's the ending for yo? Oh, como. What is it for tú? ES. Very good. What about el, ella, and usted? Just the E. Correct. Correct. Very good. Last one. IR verb. Now we have the verb vivir, We learned that in Module 1. What's the first step? So this is the last type. We have AR verbs, then we have ER verbs, then we have IR verbs. We remove the IR. That's step 1. What's step 2? You add the correct ending. So what would be the ending for the yo form? O. So AR verbs, ER verbs, and IR verbs in the yo always end in O. So that's a pattern. What about for the to form? ES. ES. Very good. So for ER verbs and IR verbs in the to form, they both end in ES. What about for the LA usted? They end in E. Correct. So for the ER verbs and the IR verbs in the LA usted, they also end in E. So they have a pattern. Okay. Another thing that I wanted you guys to also see is under lesson 3.02, page 4, tener expressions. These are something that you're going to have to know for the conversemos. Tener expressions. So we're going to practice. Tienes hambre. ¿Qué quieres comer? ¿Qué comes? Tienes hambre means what? Tienes hambre means what? Are you hungry? So who's the subject? What's the subject in that sentence? You. And how did you know that? How did you know tienes hambre is conjugated in the to form? Because of the ES in the verb ending. Very good. So how would you answer that? Let's using this picture as a cue. Because I consider, well, he doesn't look like my little Nico, but when Nico's hungry, I know. So how would you say, I am hungry? Tengo hambre. ¿Qué quieres comer? How would you answer that? What do you want to eat? So how would you answer that? Yo quiero comer, don't forget comer. Yo quiero comer pizza. Yo quiero comer un burrito. Yo quiero comer una ensalada. Okay, ¿qué comes? How would you answer that? ¿Qué comes? What's the verb in this question? ¿Qué comes? What's the subject? Comes is the verb. So how do you know it's the ES? It's conjugated in what subject pronoun? Because the subject pronoun is not in that question. ¿Qué comes? I'm confusing you guys. Everyone stop typing. ¿Qué comes is not in the yo form. Comes is in the to form. Correct. It's in the you form. So all of these are all conjugated in the to form because I'm asking you a question. And when you respond in the yo form. Make sure you go back to that 302, page 4, because there is more than just the tener hambre expression, which means to be hungry. There's a few others. There's like 6 of them. All right, what about this one? Well, we'll go that next week. Tienes sed. Tienes sed. What do you think that means? Tienes sed. Are you thirsty? How do you know it's the you form? The ES from what? Tienes. Tienes. Yes. So you answer with what? How do you answer tienes? Yo what? Yo tengo. Very good. ¿Qué quieres tomar? How would you answer that? ¿Qué quieres tomar? Quiero tomar agua. Very good, Michael. Yo quiero tomar el agua. Very good. How about this last one? Alex, I don't see you writing. Taylor, I don't see you writing. Josh, ¿Qué tomas? ¿Qué tomas? How would you answer that? Yo tomo agua. Yo tomo el agua. So as you can see, all of these questions have something to do about having something to drink. And the verbs may be different, but they all are conjugated in the to form. So if you hear me say tienes or quieres or tomas, you know I'm asking you a question and you respond in the yo form. Okay, give me a check mark or an X if you're kind of understanding how to manipulate these verbs, because you have to know the AR, ER, and IR endings. This is like fundamental. This is like if you're taking algebra, a squared plus b squared equals c squared. This will haunt you, even in Spanish too. I'm glad you love learning about food, me too. Okay, Josh, do you understand this? Jesus, are you understanding? I don't see a check mark. Taylor, are you okay? Josh, are you okay? Okay. We'll practice with her tomorrow. Now, this one I do want to go over. This is lesson 303, page 6. So some of you haven't done this week's assignments, but like I said, this is like part 1. Next week will be part 2. ¿Con qué cortas la carne? La carne is a word from page 303, page 6. I put a picture there. So before you even answer, is cortas an AR verb, an ER verb, or an IR verb? What do you think? Is cortas an AR verb, ER verb, or IR verb? It's an AR verb. It's in the to form. Que is a question word. So, how would you respond to this question? Now, you may not know the vocabulary. It's a picture, Alex, of a steak with a fork and a knife. ¿Con qué cortas la carne? So how would you start it? What would be the subject pronoun that you start with the sentence? Yo. So the first thing we would do is we would write yo. And then what? What would be next after yo? Yo corto. So I cut, yo corto la carne con, excellent, Taylor. Yo corto la carne con, and here you would use that vocabulary. So that silverware, that tableware vocabulary is from lesson 3.04, page 4. As you can see, I put all this information on this for a reason, because sometimes we're reading the lessons and we're not taking the notes down. And then the day of the DBA, when I'm asking you questions about tableware, like if I were to ask you, ¿con qué cortas la carne? You'll be like, where did we learn silverware? I don't know how to say knife. I don't know how to say fork. Okay? So yo corto la carne con el cuchillo y el tenedor. Okay. Last thing in this lesson is lesson 304, page 7. We learned, we're recycling those definite articles. Now, definite articles we covered in lesson 201, page 5. And all we're learning here is if you have the definite article the, L, since de means of or from, de plus L is del. You only do that with the de plus el, the del. You don't make a contraction with the other ones. Otherwise, it's de la, de las, or de los. But the de plus L is del. And again, these are with the definite articles that we learned in lesson 2.01, page 5. So if you're not sure what I'm talking about, you're like, what is a definite article? Make sure you're going back to module 2, lesson 201, page 5. The same thing in lesson 304, page 7, with a, which means at. We use this again in module 2 when we talked about time. A plus L is al. So whenever you have that preposition a with L, it always will be al. Otherwise, it's ala, alas, or alos. And this can be found in lesson 304, page 7. So make sure you have that in your notes. Again, I just want to show you very quickly the question words are on page 305, in lesson 305, page 2. We've studied them in lesson 108. And now we're going to continue with them again in lesson 305. So the question words, if you didn't know them then, you have to learn them now. If you need some help, a few weeks ago, remember when we were in module 1, I had this on my announcement page. It was a little Jingle Bell song. It's still up in the resources. If you click on the drop-down menu, you'll be able to hear this question song. And these are just the lyrics. This is all the question words and what they mean. Next week, we're going to have part 2 of this lesson. I'm going to do a little further investigation with this so that way you guys know what you're doing because, again, like I said, Module 3 has a lot of information. Okay, wrapping up. What are 2 ways of knowing who is a subject in a sentence or in a question? So, what are 2 ways that we would write a verb or start off a sentence? No, that's now. I'm just waiting for guys to respond to this question. This is the last question for the session. So, the verb. So, what are 2 ways of knowing? So, give me an example. You've seen a couple of examples in today's lesson. The ending and the subject pronoun. So, can you give me an example? The ending of the verb gives you a clue who it's referring to. The ending of a verb as well as the subject pronoun. So, what are 2 ways of writing something? Like if I want to say, I want Taco Bell. What are 2 ways of saying, I want Taco Bell? Not that I want Taco Bell, but I don't eat Taco Bell. But I just like the jingle. I just like the commercial. I want Taco Bell. I see Michael writing. I see Jahai writing. I see Taylor writing. Yo quiero Taco Bell or quiero Taco Bell. Correct. So either you're going to have that subject pronoun, yo quiero, or just quiero. We know just by quiero that you're talking in the yo form. Okay. If you have any questions, you can hang out, and I'll be more than happy to answer them. Otherwise, we're going to go into Kahoot. The ending in the case, it tells you the subject. Correct. All right, give me a second and let me pull up my Kahoot. And let me get you the code too. Okay, 919177. 919177. That's your code to get in. We're going to have a Kahoot this week, and we're going to have another one next week. Let me write that too. Okay, Jameria, no worries. 919177. Okay, we're going to start in 5, 4, 3, 2. All right. We're going in. Okay, are you ready? There's only 9 questions. ¿Qué te gusta comer para el almuerzo? You have el helado, el pescado, un sándwich de jamón y queso, or el arroz. For those of you who can't see that picture, that's salmon. One of the, I eat that so much, it's not even funny. Okay. Most of you got it, yay. And mamba, Jahai, is up. Very good. Okay, next. We have, ¿qué bebes por la mañana? ¿Qué bebes por la mañana? El té, la leche, el batido de proteína, el café con leche. And all of you got el café con leche. All of you should know all of them except the third one, el batido. El batido is a shake. What does proteína sound like? What does proteína sound like? Protein shake. Another thing that Senora Palma lives on because of her braces. So yes, that is a cognate. A batido isn't, but proteína is. Very good. Okay, Mamba, you're high up there. Then Nina. Taylor, then Jesus. Okay, number 3. ¿Qué comes para el desayuno? We have el cereal, el tocino, los panqueques, and la mantequilla. Clearly, you guys got los panqueques. Sounds just like pancakes. The one that you may not know, that you may want to put on your note-taking guides, is el tocino, which is bacon. And la mantequilla is butter, but that's also Latin cereal is already in the lessons. I don't think tocino is. Ooh, on fire. Mamba has the highest answer streak of 3. Okay, number 4. ¿Qué comes para la cena? El bistec, la pizza, los huevos, or el arroz y frijoles. Just if you can't see that, that's white rice with black beans. It has some avocado on top of it. You all were able to see that picture. Very good. All right. Next we have question number 5. ¿Qué te gusta comer en la cafetería? El batido de chocolate, un sándwich de jamón y queso, las uvas o la avena. So, we already learned about batido, shake, de chocolate. Chocolate is a cognate. What is chocolate? What is chocolate? I don't see you guys right. Oh, chocolate. FYI, chocolate is not an English word. It is actually a word from the Nahuatl language, which is what was spoken in Mexico. It's a native language. Then we have uvas, jamón, ham, queso, cheese, avena. Avena is oatmeal. Then we have 6. ¿Qué comes? ¿Qué comes? Los huevos y el tocino, los huevos y el bistec, el pan tostado con mantequilla, which is vocabulary on the breakfast food, and la pizza, which is in the lessons. That's in part 2. So a lot of this vocabulary is in part 2. And it is actually, yes, los huevos y bistec, eggs and steak and eggs. Give me a smiley face if you've ever had steak and eggs for breakfast. No? Really? Steak and eggs is so common. Okay. Oh, Danielle, you're up there now. Number 7, ¿qué comes? El helado con frutas, el tocino, la avena con frutas, el postre. Very good, la avena. Oatmeal with fruit. Very good. Oh, I see Josh, you're on the board. 8. ¿Qué comes? Una ensalada de aguacate, una ensalada de frutas, una ensalada de lechuga y tomate, una ensalada de dulce. Very good. All got that. And the last question. ¿Qué bebes de postre? ¿Qué bebes de postre? Un batido de fresas, un batido de chocolate, un batido de proteína, un té helado. Oh gosh, you all got that. Okay. Oh, Danielle. You are at the top. Then we have Mamba and Joshua. Excellent. Alrighty, guys. We are ending it today here. You did an awesome job. Thank you all for participating. We will have another Kahoot next week. Okay? So, thank you all for coming. I'm going to stay back in case you guys have any questions. Otherwise, you're free to go. Thank you so much, and I'll see you next week for part 2. Adios.